It's finally time to decorate the Christmas tree. You guys, I am so excited to share this with you. This is, without a doubt, my favorite Christmas tree that I have ever decorated. Now, along with the Christmas tree, we are also creating a beautiful fireplace mantelscape. We are going to start off creating a beautiful garland. Now, just like in my bedroom garland, we are going to take two garlands and weave them together. I have a pine garland and I also have a frosted garland. I laid both of these garlands out and intertwined them. This is a great way to beef up your garland, but it also gets a color variation between the pine green and the frosted branches. My sweet boys helped me fluff these branches. I know it's every teenage boy's dream to help their mother fluff branches on a garland. They're such good sports and I'm so grateful for them. Once these branches were all spread out and fluffed up, I got a string of Christmas lights and I strung those through the garland. We do not want this garland to fall down midway through the season. So what I've done in the past is I actually got a screw and I just screwed that directly into the fireplace. That way I have peace of mind knowing that it is securely attached to the mantle. Then I got a segment of floral wire and I wrapped it around the big heavy garland and then twisted the wire around the screw on the fireplace mantle. I did this on both sides. Now my garland touches the ground, ascends to the top of the mantle, dips down in the center, and then drops down to the floor on the opposite side. Look how big and beefy this garland is. It is lush and full. I'm going to give you a quick recap on the color scheme that I've chosen for this year's Christmas decor. It is a winter white, a champagne gold, pewter, gold, and accents of pearls. To bring in that champagne gold, I'm going to get a sparkly leaf garland that's in this champagne color. I purchased several of these garlands at Hobby Lobby. These garlands were $13.99 a piece, but they were 50% off, which brought the price down to only $7. I'm going to be using 3 of these garlands. So I took the first garland, had it touch the floor, brought it all the way up to the top corner, and attached it to the garland. I took the second garland, placed it on the dip in the center, and then the third garland cascaded down the opposite side. Now I'm going to take these leaves and branches and intermix them with our garland. These champagne leaves integrate beautifully into the pine garland. It adds a shimmer and shine and creates a bountiful base for the other items we are going to be putting on our garland. If you left this garland as is, it would be absolutely stunning, but that's not what we're going to do. We are going to add a whole bunch more embellishments to our garland. Now, the inspiration for the fireplace garland in my bedroom was a well-dressed lady headed out to a fancy Christmas party. Well, we're going to carry that theme into this garland. Every well-dressed lady needs some jewelry, so we are going to get a strand of gold beads and add it to the garland. The first beaded garland is from Hobby Lobby. It was only $4.99, and of course it was 50% off. The second strand of gold beads is a bit smaller. These beads I've had for years. I originally purchased them at Target. I'm going to find the center of the strand of beads, attach it to the pine garland by simply wrapping a branch around it, drape it down, and then bring it back up to one corner. Then I took the second half of the beads, draped that down, and then brought it back up to the opposite corner. Again, I'm just going to be attaching these beads to the pine garland by grabbing one of those pine branches and just wrapping it around the beads. That's just as efficient as using floral wire. Then I took the second strand of gold beads, draped it just slightly above our larger beaded garland, and went along that same line of beads just a little bit higher. Now we have a beautiful necklace on our gorgeous garland. Now that the beads are in place, let's add some ribbons. I have 2 ribbons that I'm going to use. The first is a wide white satin ribbon. This is wired. And I purchased it at Michael's, and I didn't get it in the Christmas section. I actually got it in the wedding section. They've got some great selections of ribbons over there, so that's where I purchased this wide white ribbon. And then I also have a striped pewter and gold ribbon. I used this ribbon in my kitchen decorations. I added these ribbons to my sconces and my lanterns. I layered the pewter and gold striped ribbon in front of the thick, wide white ribbon. I took a segment of floral wire, wrapped it around both of the ribbons so they were attached. Then I wrapped the wire around the garland. I'm going to make a loop in this ribbon and then bring it back to the garland and attach it to the garland with one of those pine branches. I looped it again and attached it to the garland by wrapping one of the branches around the ribbon, and then I let the ribbon drape to the floor. We don't want a straight cut to the bottom of our ribbons, so I'm going to dovetail the end of the ribbon, which makes it look nice and clean. And then I continue to add this ribbon to the center of the garland and the opposite side. Fun fact, I actually ran out of ribbon. Classic, right? I had like a foot or two left at the bottom on one of the sides and I ran out of ribbon. So I had to make a quick run to Hobby Lobby to grab more of that striped ribbon, and then I just simply added it to the bottom. So crisis averted. Now it's time to add some white poinsettas and some white frosted flowers to the garland. I added them to the top corners, the center, and along the sides. To bring in the pearls, I've got these pearl picks. I used them on my fireplace mantle in my bedroom. And since our theme is pearls, I'm going to add several of these pearl picks around the garland. And then I decided to add a couple more loops to the center ribbon. I should put an asterisk next to my designs that says everything's subject to change. You know how when you get a design up and you look at it and you're like, that needs to be changed? Well, I needed to change the ribbon in the center just a little bit. I think it looks so much better now. To add some more pearls to our garland, I've got 3 of these beautiful teardrop glass ornaments. They're gold and they have these beautiful strands of beads that go along the perimeter of the ornament and a little string of pearls that drape down right at the tip. I purchased these ornaments at Home Goods a few years ago and they coordinate beautifully with our theme. Along with these ornaments, I'm going to add several lucite snowflakes. I've got some gold snowflakes, gold gems, gold and champagne colored round ornaments. We are filling our garland full of ornaments to make it feel abundant. The final detail we are going to add to our garland is to get a segment of this Merry Christmas ribbon. I cut a piece long enough that I could have Merry Christmas on either side. I bunched it in the middle and then placed it right in the center of the garland. We are done with our garland. You guys, look at how beautiful this is. I can't even tell you how stunning it looks. I love the details we added. This garland is elegant and luxurious. The champagne glitter leaves add a plentiful look to our garland. The layered ribbons are a great way to bring in our color scheme with the satin, the gold, and the pewter. The beads look like our garland has an elegant necklace, and the ornaments represent the extra jewelry you put on when you're heading out to a fabulous party. I couldn't love this garland anymore. And now that our garland is done, let's move up and decorate the top of the fireplace mantle. Now, because this garland is so busy, we want to keep the top decorations fairly streamlined. So what I'm going to do is get some Christmas cone trees. I purchased these champagne sequin trees at Hobby Lobby. They were such a great price already, and then they were 50% off, which is fabulous. So I'm going to take 2 of these large trees and I'm going to add them to either side of our fireplace mantle. These will add the height and the drama that we want on our fireplace. So I've got these 2 right here, and then next I've got our medium trees. So these are gonna go right here, a little bit further away from our tall cone Christmas trees. And then I've got some small trees. I know I'm bending down in a dress, that's not very ladylike, but I think we're friends at this point, so it's okay. All right, so these little trees are gonna go right here in front. So we've got our small, medium, and large trees. I love that these trees are geometric and streamlined. The champagne sequins blend in beautifully with our champagne colored leaves on our garland, and they fit in with this luxurious theme. Of course, we need a stunning piece of artwork to go in the center of our fireplace mantle. I love using artwork because it is an easy and inexpensive way to theme your decor seasonally. This wintry landscape print is from my website. I added it to this beautiful champagne gold frame that's very decorative. I'm going to place it right here in the center and lean it up against the mirror. And perhaps I should have put the artwork up first before I did the cone trees, but hey, we've got it up now. This European winter landscape was a perfect choice. The colors in this art print coordinate with our color scheme, and the winter scene is so festive. It's not too busy, so this artwork goes along with our streamlined design. I will leave a link to it in my description box. Well, that's it. We're done with this entire fireplace wall. This entire Christmas scene is a beautiful sight. It has an air of elegance, but it still fits in with the Christmas theme because we have the winter art print, the snowflakes, and the Christmas trees. You guys saw how easy this display was to put together. There was nothing that was overcomplicated, but it looks professionally done. And if you think it looks beautiful now, just wait until nighttime when it's dark outside and the lights are dim and you can see those beautiful sparkly, twinkly lights coming through the garland. The lights make the ornaments twinkle and dance. Everything looks magical. The fireplace mantle was just a teaser, and now it's time to move on to the real magic, and that is decorating the Christmas tree. There is nothing that screams Christmas more than a beautifully decorated Christmas tree. I have a 9-foot tall flocked Christmas tree. I'm using some bed risers to raise this tree up even further. The bed risers are fabulous to raise up a tree because they are sturdy, they can handle a lot of weight, and they're also not too tall. The reason I'm raising up my tree just a little bit is because I love to have some extra space between the bottom branches and the floor. That way I can add some Christmas gifts below. And then we also have a Polar Express train that we put out every single year. My husband and the kiddos have a fun night where they put the train out. So I wanted to make sure that we had enough space for those items. I also have some sparkly Christmas lights that I added to the tree as well. I'm going to need you to have an open mind as we start decorating this Christmas tree. This is a design that I have never done before, so as we get going, you may have some questions in your mind, but stick with me. I promise you it's going to be so worth it. So what we are going to start off with is a few blocks of floral foam and some mesh ribbon. I know, not what you were expecting. I told you it's a little unique, but we are going to take this floral foam and we're going to put it inside the center of this ribbon. We are going to encase the foam in the mesh. I got some segments of floral wire, twisted the bottom of the mesh together, and then wrapped the wire around the mesh. I did this to the top and then also to the bottom so it looks like a piece of candy. Then we did the exact same thing with the second floral foam block. I wrapped the mesh around the floral foam, got a segment of floral wire, and secured the mesh around the foam. Now we have 2 blocks of floral foam encased in some gold mesh ribbon. Don't raise your eyebrows quite yet, stick with me. I'm going to take this strand of ribbon and I'm going to add it to my Christmas tree. I'm placing it diagonally right in the front. I'm going to get more segments of floral wire, wrap the wire around the mesh and attach it to the tree branch. Once I had secured the first block of floral foam to the tree, I did the same thing with the second block of foam. Now I'm going to gather up a whole bunch of Christmas botanicals. Do you remember that garland that we added to our fireplace mantle in the bedroom? That champagne beautiful garland? Well, I ended up purchasing 3 of these garlands, so I have 1 left over. I'm also going to be using more of this sparkly champagne leaf garlands. I've got frosted poinsettas, plain white stems of leaves, large beaded white and gold leaves, and more of that satin ribbon. I'm going to take that champagne garland that we used in our bedroom. I'm going to bend it in half, get some floral cutters, and cut it in half. I'm going to take the first half of the garland and press it into the floral foam. This is going to stretch from the center of the tree and wind up diagonally around the tree. Then I took the second segment, flipped it around, poked it into the floral foam, and then had it descend diagonally to the bottom of the tree. I'm also going to be using floral pins to make sure that these garlands stay in the floral foam. Next, I took that sparkly champagne leaf garland that we used on our fireplace mantle. I'm going to cut that in half as well. I did the same thing with these 2 segments. I poked one into the floral foam and had it ascend diagonally upward, and the second segment descend diagonally downward. Again, I'm using floral pins to secure the garland to the tree. I repeated this process with my second strand of sparkly champagne leaves. I simply cut it in half, and this time I placed it above the thicker champagne garland. Because our tree is flocked and a lot of the leaves are in that champagne color, we need to bring in a pop of color. So I've got these green frosted leaves. I'm going to get about 6 of these segments and I'm going to poke them into the floral foam. The green is a fantastic highlight. It actually brings out that champagne color even more. The green is a perfect contrast to the very neutral color scheme that we have in our tree. Next up, I've got some stems of plain white leaves. This is a great contrast to all of the other sparkle and glitter that we have. These leaves are very simplistic. I poked them into the floral foam. A few of them were a little too long, no big deal. I just trimmed it to size and then poked it into the floral foam. These next leaves are stunning. I purchased them at Hobby Lobby. They've got beads on it and I wanted them to be a standout feature. I'm going to place them in the center of the tree. I've got 2 of these beaded leaves. I position them smack dab in the center. I'm poking them into the floral foam to hold them in place. These frosted poinsettas were a must-have in our tree design. I purchased them at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby has fantastic greenery, and I love that you can get it for 50% off right now. So what I did was I took 2 of these poinsettas and poked them into the center of the tree. Because the stem is so long, it went all the way through the tree and it secured those poinsettas in place. Then I got another poinsettia and added it to the top portion of our greenery and another one to the bottom portion. Now, of course, we've got to add some beautiful pearls to our tree. I've got a few more of these pearl picks. I simply peeled a few of these stems away from the large stem and then poked them into the floral foam. We are now done adding all the botanicals to our tree. What do you think? Are you catching the vision? I hope so, because I'm loving the way that it looks. And I'm gonna love it even more after we add a ribbon to the tree. I've got more of this wide white ribbon. I'm going to attach this ribbon to the tree by bending the branch around the end of the ribbon. Then I'm going to loop the ribbon and then pinch it together, take a pine branch and wrap it around the loop. And then I'm going to add another loop, pinch the ribbon together, wrap a pine branch around it to keep it in place. I continued to do that until I got to the bottom of the tree. Just like the ribbon on the garland, we are going to dovetail the bottom of these ribbons. I think it's a clean way to finish off your ribbon. I got a second segment of this wide white satin ribbon. I did the exact same thing. This time I'm going to add the ribbon below the first line of ribbon. Then I got a third segment of ribbon, I attached it to the tree above the botanicals, and finally got a fourth segment of ribbon and added it to the top of the tree. The ribbon adds a much needed contrast in both color and sheen to the Christmas tree. These ribbons are a beautiful addition. Now it's time to bring in even more color, and we are going to do that with some pewter ribbons. I purchased these pewter and gold ribbons at Hobby Lobby. They fit in so nicely with our color scheme. I love the sparkly Christmas trees in the center. What I'm gonna do is create some bows. The reason why I'm making bows is because we want to hide that floral foam. You can see a little bit of that floral foam is still exposed. We don't want people to know how all of our botanicals are attached to the tree. We want them to guess. So hiding the floral foam is essential. So what I'm gonna do is get this ribbon, I'm going to loop it into a bow and then poke it directly into the floral foam. I added 3 of these large bows to the tree, 2 of them to cover up the floral foam, and the third for design balance. And just like our garland, we are going to get some more of this Merry Christmas ribbon, cut some segments of this Merry Christmas ribbon, and then attach a few of them in specific areas on my tree. Just like our garland, our tree needs a beautiful necklace. I've got more of these strands of beads. I'm going to add these beads to the center of our wide white ribbon. These beads are just what we need to break up all the white on our ribbon. It also adds a sparkle and shine that we want on our tree. These beads also coordinate with the beads on our garland. And of course, our tree needs some jewelry, so this is a way that we can add some. It's time to add all of our ornaments to the tree. I have such a huge variety of ornaments. I've got feather ornaments, I've got large round crystal ball ornaments, I've got pearl ornaments, sparkly ornaments. I'm going to add a few gems to the tree. I want to fill it up so that it looks like it's overflowing with abundance. Every tree needs a topper, and my topper is a white star with gold edging around it. I also got some more of those champagne sparkly leaves. I simply cut off a few branches from the garland and poked them into the top of the tree to highlight the star. The finishing touch is to add a tree skirt to the bottom. I've got this soft tree skirt that has a diamond pattern and pearls scattered all over it. It's such a beautiful tree skirt. And then I also added several packages at the bottom to fill up the space. We are done decorating the Christmas tree. Yay! I'm so glad you stuck with me. I know it was a little questionable at the first, but I think it turned out beautifully. Now, this did take me quite a long time to decorate. You can see that we started when it was still light out, and now it's dark, but it was totally worth it. I absolutely love the way that this Christmas tree looks. I am not kidding when I say this is my favorite Christmas tree that I have ever decorated. The design of the garland, the leaves, and the poinsettas in the center of the tree was a unique design that definitely put me out of my comfort zone. But sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone gives you the results that are so much better than you could have ever anticipated. And that's exactly what happened with this Christmas tree. Just like our garland, our tree looks beautiful during the day. but it comes to life at night. This is the best time to enjoy the Christmas decorations. Do you know what item was the real hero of this entire decorating experience? It was that apron, right? I had some ornament hooks in one pocket and some wires in the other pocket. Do you remember when we duped that a month or so ago? And I told you then I was going to use it when I decorated for Christmas. Well, I lived up to that promise, and that apron was a lifesaver. You are definitely going to be seeing it again as I decorate more rooms in my house, which of course are going to be coming up. So far, we've got the bedroom decorated. We've got the kitchen decorated. We created some ornaments. We've got the garland on the fireplace done. We've got our Christmas tree decorated, but we still have so many more rooms to decorate in our house. So make sure that you are subscribed so I can share all of these fabulous room transformations and decorations with you. I hope you can see that we can live beautifully, we can do it on a budget, and we can do it throughout the year. Well, hopefully you got some inspiration or some ideas today so you can decorate your home for Christmas.